Okay, let's call to order the meeting of the San Miguel Historic Commission on March 11th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. I guess we can just, you want to jump right ahead to the Bob's Historic Preservation Conference recap.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think you can really even read it. That's great.
You want me to go to the full screen?
Yep. There you go. Well, we don't have a huge audience, but that's okay. So this is the Saving Places Conference. It takes place every year. When I first came to Telluride as the town historic architect, I went to it just about every year. I left in 2016. I went to a couple and hadn't been to it since before COVID. And so this was my first conference back. I know John was there a couple years ago, and when they did it in Boulder, and this was in Colorado Springs for the first time. And it's going back to Denver next year. I don't know why they're moving it around, but whatever. But just the basic premise of the whole conference was less about buildings and more about culture and celebrating these intangible heritage things. They're stories, traditions, cultural practices of different communities in different places all over the state. And so they did have a few technical classes, windows and storefronts and things like that, restoration. And I went to a couple that I'll tell you about here. I've listed what I went to see and just give you a brief overview of that. So if you want to go to the next one, this is the main meeting hall that they had. They had a lot of presentations by people from all over the state. And
was it held in like their conference center?
no, it was at the Canyon Cheyenne Canyon Resort, which is outside of town.
Got it.
Great views from there. They got beautiful views of the mountains. And they had several meeting rooms there. I think they do a lot of this kind of stuff. Please ask questions as we go, because I'm just kind of ad-libbing this thing. Okay, next one. So they did, this was basically what kind of a summary. We had about 600 people there, which was great. I think that's probably about what we've had before. I think the last one I went to wasn't really attended really well. But as I said, was all about talking about this cultural heritage and preserving these stories and these well, sometimes they're places, a place where people would gather, stores, restaurants, things like that. And so anyway, you can go to the next one. First one was Maribel Alvarez, who has put together this sort of a program for helping people analyze what their cultural heritage is. And she goes through the whole system of it, because you can get UNESCO designation for being a cultural heritage, having a cultural issue or heritage issue in your place, and not necessarily a particular building.
What's UNESCO? Sorry.
United.
It's
It's a World Heritage thing.
Cultural organization.
Yeah.
United Nations. I can't remember what the E stands for.
I mean, I've been to UNESCO sites in Europe.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Do they fund
They do sometimes give some money, but they'll give money to do the study. To have somebody come in, if you send in a request and say, hey, we have this wonderful little part of our town where everybody got together and all these things happened here. They will give you money to hire somebody like Maribel to come and do the analysis and the study and figure out,
Interesting.
what do you need to kind of keep it going. One of the big things, and I'll talk about it a little bit later, is gentrification of neighborhoods, how it just, tends to destroy that heritage that was there beforehand. So go ahead.
Just looked it up. Mesa Verde and Sand Dunes National Park are the only 2 UNESCO sites in Colorado.
So one of I do state historic fund grants for people, and I do tax credits for people. And so I put this one up there because that's one of my projects. It's the Cedar Edge. It's called Cedar Mesa Community Building. And it was started in the 1880s by the wives of farmers and ranchers who these guys worked 24/7 and the wives had nothing to do and no socialization. So they formed these clubs and now they're international. They're all over the place. And this is a 1948, if I remember correctly, 1948 building. That's just a box. It's concrete block walls, metal roof. Architecturally, it's nothing. It's just a box. It looks like a classroom, but it has a national designation as a historic site. And I wrote a grant for it, actually 2 grants for it. And there was they have these sessions for the grants and for tax credits that tell you if there's anything new, and there really wasn't anything new on the state historic fund grants. But it was just kind of a basic class.
UNESCO stands for United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization.
There you go. So the next one is about the Colorado State Historic Tax Credits. There's also federal tax credits, but the great thing on these is you can now get additional credits for housing as part of your projects, and the commercial credits pretty much stayed the same. The only difference is now you don't have to be 50 years old; you can be 30 years old. So they've added another 20 years that your building would be eligible for the credits. So it was kind of confusing slides, and the woman who presented this was not very articulate. It was very confusing sometimes what she would say. Okay. And then these other things they did, of course, happy hour at the Colorado Springs Pioneer Museum, which was originally was a huge mansion house. Beautiful.
You don't have slides from happy hour?
No, I didn't bring it. I didn't. And but it was a great time. They had good food and they had music and got to meet a lot of people involved in different things. And then I went to one on techniques and traditions, engineering approach to historic preservation. My previous life to coming to Telluride, I did 10 years of historic theaters. So working with engineers, all kinds, structural, mechanical, electrical, to make sure everything they do was hidden and didn't affect people. It was a very kind of basic session as well. Designing a historic preservation project, I could have taught that one. Basically, it's the basic process you do any project,
Yeah.
Schematics, design, development, whatever. And then withinification, this was the interesting one. Using cultural heritage preservation as an anti-displacement strategy, which is, gentrification in these different, they showed, I don't know, about 5 or 6 different towns. I don't remember names that were able to save a neighborhood, use the people in the neighborhood that were in construction to help people rebuild their homes and stabilize their homes or whatever. And so they could stay in the neighborhood rather than, selling and moving someplace else. And then somebody buys 3 properties and builds a monster house, and then the whole world changes.
Yeah.
So it's using that, those ideas to help people and neighborhoods stay together. And then, what?
Did I go too fast?
No, you're fine. This was a great story. This guy, Gary Jackson is a retired judge in Denver. And his family's been in Colorado since before the 20s, which is amazing. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Lincoln Hills. It's a mountain resort. It's not too far from Denver. But it was a black cabin area, like coming to Telluride, kind of place. And it was all subdivided, platted, everything. There weren't a whole lot of homes there. But the interesting thing about his story was that to drive there from Denver was normally like an hour or so. And it would take, for a black person, it would take 2 to 3 hours to get there because he couldn't go on the straight road because there was KKK had taken over these towns and it wasn't safe to drive through, even drive through it. You don't stop to get a ice cream or anything, you just keep going. And I followed up on that and discovered that in 1920, there were 107,000 white men in Colorado, and there were 3,000 KKK members.
Oh,
Huge, very upsetting
Mhm.
to read this. And they backed a governor in 1920 to be governor of Denver, or governor of Colorado. And they helped get all the Republican members of the legislature in as KKK supporters. And what they wanted to do was to eliminate anybody that wasn't white and eliminate anybody that was Catholic. Don't ask me why. But apparently they tried to do all these things, but there still was enough Democrats in the legislature to keep it from happening. And I guess they just kind of imploded and disappeared. But there's Dirk DePoctor has pictures of KKK rallies going down
They were
streets.
very, very popular in Denver.
Yeah,
20s, 30s.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, they died out very suddenly
yeah.
in the 40s. I can't remember why.
It just amazed me. I said, we're not Alabama. We're not Arkansas, what's going on? But he talked a lot about that experience, and that, they were just this isolated little place called Lincoln Hills. And
There was a KKK outfit retired.
well, according to one article I read, they said there was a KKK chapter in every single county. So it might have been, out of the Utah end of it or something. But anyway, that was fascinating. And then I did a tour at the Union Printers Home, which is in sort of southern Colorado Springs. And it was a place where printers who were exposed to lead and zinc and all these other dust and things would go to recover at this. It was basically like a hospital.
Jeez.
And they built in the 20s. This one dates back to 1891. This Art Deco building. There's 2 of them were built there as well. And they actually, most of the people recovered and went home after staying here. But people would come from all over the world that were printers, but mostly they were the Union printers from the United States. And it's been purchased by a group who had no idea what to do with it. And so if you go to the next slide, you can see it's a spectacular building. But if you look at the plan, this is their plan for the property, which is everywhere it's green, it's their property. This originally was on 300 acres and now it's about 27 or something. So this building, the red brick building is right there in the middle. Yeah, down right just above that. Yeah,
Mhm.
is right there. And they're looking at all these office buildings, housing, all kinds. I think it's a horrible plan myself, but that's me, architect playing. And really they only would keep a small portion of the plaza. It's a huge grassed area out in front. When you drive by, it's all the way to the road that what is it, Union Boulevard. That is the front yard of this building right now. And they're in the process of trying to get people with money to invest in the project and do things. And they're talking about these would be turned into a hotel. This would be turned into a hotel and private apartments or condos or whatever.
And who owns it all right now?
There's a group of people from where they were from Texas that purchased it. But they don't have the money to do everything they want to do with it. I guess from what they said when we did the tour.
So
It's
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
So they knew these metals were making everybody sick and it's
Yeah.
still got to the point where, oh, let's just build a bigger hospital.
Right. And it was in use all the way up, I believe, up until the 70s. So
Wow.
all through, and they kept adding it on. Originally, it was just this end with the round tower and that first entry, and then they added on and added on and added on across it.
So instead of improving the printing standards, they just
Yeah.
built a larger facility.
New wing.
Yeah. I think, I can't remember what the number was, but there's been like 40,000 people that have gone through this building. And there's maybe, I think it was like 2,000 or 3,000 that passed away living there. And those two other buildings were actually places where people could live until they passed away. Almost like
End of life.
yeah. I mean, they took care of them. They took care of people, but
So this wasn't like a fast recovery.
no, you could be, there's some people that did go home. I'm sure they never recovered, but they could go home and live semi-normal life for, I don't know how many years afterwards. Depends on how bad you had it, I guess. But yeah, it's pretty bizarre. Anyway, and then the last part of this is the Endangered Places program. I don't know if you've known about this, but they put out a list every year of the most endangered places for that year.
All right, we
And
got
so-
2 typos in there,
What?
2 typos
Well, oh, there's an E missing. Sorry.
and an R. Oh, is that you? Sorry, I thought it was from them.
Oh, yeah, it was from them.
Yeah,
Oh, I see it missing. Yes. Okay. Sorry.
no,
Yeah.
it was them.
Okay, go ahead. And I did this, these are just the ones. This was the home that was used for
So are these the latest additions? Like, I think they take 5 or 10.
there's 4 or
Okay.
5, yeah. This was the Indiana Jones bed. It's a bed and breakfast now, but it's where they filmed when he was a boy. It's 1888.
Hmm.
And it's got foundation problems and other things that need to be fixed in order to keep it going. You know, there's stories about it. I don't know if you want to go through all that, but we can go to the next one. This one is a store and an opera house. And it's been all kinds of stuff, a post office, factory, hotel. And right now it's a bar. And it's got some damage. The walls are on the second floor are shifting, and they cannot even use the upper floor anymore. And then the next one, this is interesting. This was Grenada, near a World War II Japanese internment camp.
Oh, really?
And it was it's been different things. It was the fish market, which is now next door to it. And a number of Japanese, once they were released from the camp, stayed and worked the worked at the fish market and all the other stuff that you could do. And then they took it as well to the incarcerated people.
I didn't know Colorado had internment.
I didn't either
Yeah,
till I saw this. I'm
I
going,
always
"Wait."
heard they were west.
I can tell you
Coast.
all about it. I've been really into it. It just got turned into Biden, turned it into a national, not a park, but a national historic landmark or something like that. I
Could be.
can't remember the title.
Could be a landmark district or something.
Not a district,
Yeah.
it's, anyway. Yeah, it's the smallest, I think there were 11 Japanese internment camps, and it was the smallest. And,
How many people does that mean?
about 9,000 over the course of 3 years, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. And there was shoot, which governor? There was a governor, you know, as the war was coming on, the governor of Colorado firmly opposed this, but it was pushed on them by the federal government, and it was popular, like if that's what everybody wanted to do. And this governor basically gave up his political future. Ralph, I can't remember his last name. Anyway, there's a statue to this governor at Sakura Square, which is in Denver, because a lot of people from Amache ended up in Denver. And there was like a Japantown in Denver for a long time. It's pretty small right now. Yeah, amazing story.
Yeah, yeah. They just mentioned a little bit of it, but that's great to hear more about it. Okay, and then I think they got one more. Red Cliff Town Hall.
Mhm.
It's in rough shape. And
That door.
yeah, it's I guess there was the fire station and then the town hall upstairs. And I don't know, they must have built another building for their offices. It's just standing there and you can see it's leaning and it's in kind of rough shape. So they did an assessment of it, so they could go ahead if they had money, which they probably don't have much, to go ahead and do something with it, at least stabilize it. But we'll see. And I think that's it. Yeah, there was just 4. So
Nice,
Yeah.
thank you.
it was an
Yeah, thanks,
interesting,
Bob.
interesting conference. Got most of it, it's interacting with other people and seeing people you haven't seen since the last meeting or whatever, and catching up. Folks from Crested Butte were there. We do a lot of used to do a lot of back and forth with them. And you know, but it is interesting. There's fewer and fewer of us at our age there, and it's more younger people who don't even want to hear what you have to say. Kind of interesting.
Well, there are probably pros and cons to that. It's nice to see the younger set getting
Yes,
interested in the
yes,
historic
absolutely.
structures. And yeah, I don't know if you were on a commission then, but years ago, almost the entire commission went. I mean, we all,
Mhm.
you know, did the caravan up and it was definitely a worthwhile few days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's only 600 people. Tell them that. You do want to tire it when you.
Yeah.
It's pretty involved what they do. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
of different conferences, workshops. It's, you know, it seems like it's almost too big for tire. I guess we could do it if we wanted to, but it would be a large undertaking.
Yeah. That was a lot of folks.
It wouldn't matter when it's said and done.
I mean, you could probably do it up at the hotels in Mountain Village. You know, they've got the big spaces that you could do something there.
And we definitely have enough structures for the tours.
Yeah, you can-
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They did tours of the Air Force Academy.
Mhm.
They were all booked when I signed in.
Mm.
And then this one I had, and then they did a couple others too. I can't remember where else they went, but there was a tour every day, 1 or 2 tours every day you could do. And it was worthwhile going. Yeah, so. Any questions or anything I might want to know about?
No, it's interesting because from like, I think I went 2 years ago, two of the topics that came up there, one was, yes, let's stop concentrating on buildings and start talking more about stories
Mhm.
and trends and communities and events. And then the other one, there was a guy who was a demographer, I believe, and he had researched when you create a historic district, the assumption was, oh, there's gonna be gentrification and all the people are gonna be kicked out. And that wasn't necessarily the case. In many cases, it kept people there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The withinification.
identification, yeah. I think you have to work at it though, otherwise it could turn on you. Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
thanks.
Do you, that link, that Google Drive, can you pull that up from the email that I sent earlier?
The link,
Oh, yeah, you had a lot of great links in your email.
Well, you can ignore most of it, but I don't know if that T-Bone Wilson Hotmail, I need to get a new email address.
Nah,
Email
T-Bone
address is
too.
historic.
It's what?
My email address is.
Say, this is all my stuff.
I know. Did it go to Janet or me?
Well, I sent-
Everybody.
I sent it to everybody.
Yeah.
So would it be?
Oh, go to Historical Commission, go left. Scroll down. All right, yeah.
So who does the county website anyway? Is it in-house or?
Yes,
Because I mean, I looked at that link and I didn't realize that the historic commission pages have been greatly updated too.
yeah, they've been updated, yeah, you'd have to search Ted. They've been updating a lot for to be accessible
Yeah,
and,
I mean, the fact that.
oh, no,
because
you just, oh, yeah.
The county historic county register just used to be a PDF and now it's a really nice, beautiful website.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
So it's not, did you open up the one that's at the top? Or, oh,
No, I
just scroll down,
Maybe like one of the.
there, right
Yeah,
there.
that's
Yeah.
probably, yeah, that's it. So so you've probably seen, everyone's seen the county website, but it's
Mhm.
very simple. It's all listed out nice and clean. But if you go, maybe if you can open the Google Drive,
is that this one?
yeah. Now, if you go to, and I noticed that this ended up on the work plan, so you guys must have done this during the last meeting, but if you go to the San Juan Skyway Historic Panels. You go to Sunshine Mountain Overlook. And click on either one of those top images. Look at that.
Should I share this on here?
Well, that's just an example, and you can look at the
Yeah.
other one. I mean, those things,
Right, they're
Crap.
obliterated, they
they
need to be
clap,
Yeah, you
replaced.
can't see it.
who knows how many years they've been that bad. And so my point is, if we can just, if the county's web person has the time, give more work, but if we can just list out the county's interpretive sites, panels, then it's documented, then it's there. So 20 years down the road, when all of us are hopefully on the beach, they'll know to look for these things.
Mhm.
Because the ones that Linda Luther did, if you click back real quick, or if you X out of this photo, if you go back, if you one more back, if you go to the county ones, there you go. So like the Idorado legacy, all these, and John might remember when this was all done, but there are those beautiful foundry ones that are.
Yeah.
Who knows how much those would cost these days?
Mhm.
So hopefully those will last for even decades more. But there's always a chance that something might get graffitied and oh, this is the one that's in Town Park across the river. I think this has been completely forgotten about it because John might
I
remember.
recognize that one.
Well, it's usually behind a tree in the summer.
Huh.
Mhm.
The trees grow.
I remember
I
that.
never saw it either. It's right across, it's on the river trail side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
he's
I mean,
saying-
it's like, I think everyone's just kind of forgotten.
Yeah, I don't know it.
And so I think there is like, even though a lot of our historic panels
Yeah.
are on trails, it's just that the odds are that some will get forgotten about. And so, I mean, you know, if the county web person can just, you know, make a separate page like
Sure.
they did for the register, it's like, these are the interpretive sites.
Mhm.
And it also, to me, it opened my eyes a little bit. There's a lot on the railroad, right?
There's a lot of what?
On the railroad.
Oh, right.
As you can imagine, I mean,
Yeah.
it makes sense. It's like, there's the Whiskey
Mhm.
Charlie Trail, the county,
Yeah.
it's the old railroad. But, I mean, I would argue that the railroad has been well covered out there. You know what I mean? But it kind of shows you, it's like everyone over the years has kind of landed on the same stuff, LL Nunn, the Rio Grande side. So I think it's helpful if it's all in one place. It's like thinking ahead to the future, talking about story and all that. It's like, you know, I'm not saying there needs to be more panels and stuff, but it'd be nice for commission.
Just to
it's
create
like,
that
listen,
inventory.
We've covered a lot of
Right.
this stuff out in the wild, and like maybe it's time to tell this story that it's been forgotten about.
The one we put up at Brattleville Falls could be a good first one to.
Yeah, and if you go back to and this is the other thing too, this will be helpful. I maybe it's panel 11 there, I think. Go, I guess, panel 10. So when you walk the Legacy Trail, there's a great panel on the power plant, right over the power plant. So, I mean, yes, I would think there's a lot of people who will go up to the falls who aren't also hiking the Legacy Trail. But I mean, that we could do something a bit different of it. Right Vale. You know what I mean? So maybe it has a little different slant than the one that exists down the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know when Linda Luther did these. You remember? I mean, someone put a lot of work in that around Legacy Trail. Like there's
Well, I feel like there was the company that was doing the real estate development that also did this.
okay.
And so that's why these are super nice and they spared no expense. Who did the actual work on it? I don't know.
It's
They
impressive.
may have hired somebody. I
Probably.
wouldn't be surprised if it was like a Rudy Davison or somebody like
Yeah.
that, but yeah.
It tells so much of the
Yeah.
town story. It's pretty
Mhm.
impressive. So, you know, but like the Keystone ones we just put in, and then the ones at the Ilium deck, those aren't. They're only probably gonna last 15, 20 years if we're lucky.
Mhm.
So anyway, I just think, you know, if it's easy enough for the web person to
Sure.
have that separate thing, and then it's done, and then people know to look after these things. And talking about cleaning, when John went out and
Oh, that's right, that's coming up.
cleaned. Some
But
of
it
these,
It didn't need it. I just did
Yeah.
that for publicity purposes.
that was perfect.
Yeah,
Some of
but
these
it
I
helps.
noticed actually kind of neat, the new ones I
Yeah.
just put in, there's like they're kind of collecting like these brown drop, like some, you know what I mean? Yeah, so those aren't even a year old yet, and we'll have to remember to do that in the spring. They're gonna need a little wipe down.
There's probably some products we can put on there that makes it harder for that stuff to stick
Yeah.
on.
And we can ask,
Slippery stuff.
we can
That's
ask,
why cleaner, whatever these.
InDesign, like what's the best to use of those fossil ones, but I mean, already like. You know,
So if the intention is 20 years from now, we're on a beach and people know these signs exist, do we have like a location component to it?
yeah, so it's on the dock.
Hmm.
I just put it on Google Map, this is Google Map, coordinates.
Should I go back more?
Yeah, so they could, if you go back one more. There, the dock
Oh,
there,
great.
so. You guys probably have a picture of this Peabody thing somewhere, I imagine.
Oh, yeah.
So there's the Google Maps that would mark it. You know, there's a great dedication to Utes plaque in Placerville. But I mean, the other thing too is,
Oh, wow.
you know, when it comes to historic research, like sometimes you find yourself far from here and you're looking on somebody else's website and you find something that's very helpful. I mean, my pictures are not great, they're from my iPhone. I wasn't really thinking that. But if it's easy enough for the web person to include the photos with each listing, you know, there could be a railroad nerd out there somewhere. And if they know that there's some interpretation and stuff, I mean, it may inspire them to come up and see it for themselves. Or they can actually, or they can just look at the picture of the panel and see what's on the panel.
There's no shortage of railroad nerds.
Yeah. I mean, my point is like, we're all thinking that way now, where it's like, you know, can someone look at the panel without having to hike down Keystone Gorge, right?
Mhm.
Accessibility,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
I think it's an excellent idea. I think if there was an interactive map where you just had a map of the county and there was places
Bins.
along and you could open them up.
Yeah,
Same thing, I've been thinking about this with the San Juan Skyway, and there are people who just physically or financially or for whatever reason can't make it here.
Yeah.
But they're vicariously doing it on their computer. I think if we could give them a tour of San Miguel County
Yeah.
via this stuff, that's, you know, it's great. It just gets it more views.
I mean, hopefully it'd be something that, you know, again, really easy for the web person,
Right.
a couple hours maybe, and it's.
How hard could it be? That's what I
Yeah.
was saying, government.
Mhm.
Right.
The other thing, while we're talking about historic monuments, is that, and this is actually an idea that came from the conference I went to a couple of years ago, but kind of along a DEI thing, they've done DEI audits of, okay, who's honored in all these historic monuments? And they're like, oh, surprise, surprise, it's 98.4% white males.
Oh,
And so then a lot of communities have started to figure out, okay, we got some gaps here, they're filling in gaps. I think we could do that here very well too.
Oh, yeah.
well, for, you know, it was funny, got here early and was outside and I was sitting in front of the Opera House. And I spent a lot of time with that Opera House for many, many years, and there's that rock in front of it, there's a little plaque on it, and I've never looked at it.
But you did
I
today.
did today, and it's a dedication to the Utes.
Hmm.
And I never knew that was there, and I was kind of thinking, this is just brainstorming, but I'm like, you know, it's a very small plaque, it's kind of hard to read. In fact, they put plants in front of it in the summer, so you really have to like get in and look at it.
Crawl on the rock.
I crawl on the rock. I'm like, maybe, you know, you've been talking about the county park here, the railroad stuff. With the goose being gone now, I mean, is there, like what John's saying, is like that park? It's kind of a quiet, peaceful little park. Should we be thinking along the lines of like what John's saying? Maybe recognizing something different instead of the mining and the railroad and the, you know what I mean? And the fact that it's next to the county, which is the people's building, right? That's just something we could, just to plant that seed. I mean,
Right.
we got kind of stuck on the railroad thing, right? Maybe it should be something different.
Well, we have, the county has, a really nice dedicated plaque to the Utes down at the schoolhouse, Placerville Schoolhouse. That's where we did a big dedication ceremony a few years ago.
People, maybe more, I mean, there was all talking about all the inherent, you know, racism in your presentation.
I think-
I mean, it's the same with Telluride. It's like
Mhm.
that never gets
Yeah.
recognized, the fact that there were people of all creed and color in Telluride during the heyday.
There was a Chinese community here
They
that
were
they just
here.
never got recorded.
That's,
Yeah.
Right.
that's not really recognized
Right.
Were they
anywhere, you know.
minors?
I think they were in like your traditional Chinese restaurants and laundry.
Laundry.
Yeah.
A lot of them
Support. stuff,
weren't,
yeah.
a lot of the mines wouldn't hire workers who weren't white. That racism kind of spilled into the labor there.
They were probably actually lucky.
Yeah. And then, like, there was a lot of black people here, but they worked as like porters and cooks and they were, you know, but anyway, that's just something there.
We don't even have Chinese food now.
Right.
But my question though is like, if you scroll through this doc, like, should we just keep it the county stuff? Because if you start to get into the Forest Service stuff, I mean, that's,
Millions.
I guess that's not really our purview.
Maybe we
You
can
know.
phase it and start with county stuff and decide later if
Yeah.
we wanna.
And the thing with the Forest Service stuff, it's kind of just, it's almost all the galloping goose. And so it's all railroad stuff for the most part, because it's the goose, it's the
Yeah.
railroad, which
Right.
makes sense. But there's also the question of, and like, I sent that picture to Janet earlier. It's like the heaving coal one at the coal chutes is starting to go.
Hmm.
It's like, so how confident are we in the Forest Service to?
At the moment, who knows?
Yeah.
Whether replace, I mean, we can ask, but I don't know, who knows if that department is still around.
But I mean, it's like the
Yeah.
San Juan Skyway. I mean, I guess if there ends up being a map, it could be simpler where it's like the goose is kind of more like out there in the county. It's like, hey, just so you know, the entire Galloping Goose Trail is also an, historic site per se,
Well, and
It's also determining ownership and responsibility.
exactly.
The San Juan Skyway is this mix of
Yeah.
BLM, Forest Service, CDOT, all the different counties. Who
Mhm.
knows who put it up initially?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, maybe like you said, just maybe just start with the county stuff.
Mhm.
And then,
Yeah, we can start with the panels that we're responsible for.
yeah.
Didn't Angela also mention that someone was kind of taking ownership of some of the signage on the?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna mention Angela Dye,
Yeah.
from the Open Space Commission. The County Open Space Commission is very much involved in the San Juan Skyway Scenic Byway
She's on
Group,
that committee.
as you know, yeah, on the committee, so I can just touch base with her about the panels. I mean, she recently gave a presentation and, I can just ask her if she has a contact at the US Forest Service or how that's being handled.
Yeah, they're all different, like there's photos of the ones up at Lizard Head. And that's seems to be all Forest Service, and those signs actually look, if you go back real quick. To the photos, US, yeah, Forest Service. If you, I'm sorry, if you go back to the San Juan Skyway. Lizard Head. And these pictures are terrible. I was up there cross country
Angela
skiing.
has copies.
But
We-
those-
We went. we did a
yeah.
little
Yeah, you
tour
guys
and
did
stuff
it.
too.
Yeah,
But those look pretty new and
Mhm.
they're in great shape.
Yeah,
And those look like maybe it was the Forest Service, who knows, but those are
Okay.
good. Those are good to go.
yeah, those look like they're in good shape.
those are actually, see, it does get complicated. Those were put up, I believe, by whoever put together Trout Lake as like a reservoir for the XL energy production.
Oh,
Bureau of Reclamation, I believe, or something, some weird agency of, what's the other one? The Energy Commission, FERC.
okay.
And that was, I think that was part of it. That was like a public thing that they had to do as part of this improvement that or development they made. Yeah, that just comes to mind. I ride my bike up there from time to time. One of the
surprised
signs I think gives credit to, or maybe it's down at Trout Lake where you put in where there's a dock and a bathroom and stuff like that, but that was a whole project.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Have I ever told you the story of the rock in front of the Opera House? Well, here, I'll be
Please do.
quick, I
Sure.
think.
Can you
Sure.
just quick, you got people on Zoom? Is Angela one of those? Can you tell?
What?
But on Zoom, she was talking about maybe sitting in on this on Zoom.
Oh,
Down at
I
the
don't know,
bottom?
she didn't
Yeah.
say anything. I mean, we're waiting for Matt.
Participants.
That's just
I
us.
don't
It would,
It's
it would
just
say
us. She
something
would-
waiting in the waiting room.
Exactly, they'd have
Okay.
to be
Also, it'd be
admitted.
impossible because we had to change the link because.
Okay, all right. She did have, when we get a moment to talk about San Miguel City, that the open space out there, she had some questions. And Dirk had some things to share as well.
But yeah, you wanted to also chat about that, right? About Dirk? And
Yeah.
a recent conversation?
Yeah.
So Ted, do you think maybe we'll start off with the county signage?
Yeah, I mean, I think it, and again, a big part for me is the future when we're all gone and forgotten.
You're just writing us off.
Yeah, well, but when your eye gets trained to this stuff, you're like, there is garbage graphic panels over this country that people have forgotten about.
Mhm.
And it's a shame, right? And it's like, and yeah, I'll be honest, like, it would suck to come back and visit Keystone Gorge and,
Yeah,
and like, I'm old and I walk down there and those signs are just faded out and garbage and,
We'll have a T-bone
Yeah.
Wilson.
It's actually, I'll be the one who graffiti them. I'll bring my spray paint. But I think, just again, it's just, to me, it's part of our inventory, like with the county register. Like, these are all stuff that was overseen by the historic commission for the most part, and so. Just, it's just there and documented, accessible to the public.
Yeah. It seems easy enough to get the
Yeah.
coordinates on the photo on a map.
I mean, you could share the Google Drive with your web person and
Yeah.
look at it and see what they say. And
Yep.
again, they may look, if they decide it's easy enough to include photos. Some of the photos may be kind of not very good, and I'd be happy to just go back out in the summer and just try to take a quick, better shot.
Yeah.
Well, it's appropriate that the glacier one has snow in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was like 4 feet of snow in there, and I crawled through it.
I like those that you have the drawing of all the peaks and the names on them, and then you see
Yeah.
it.
Those
You're
great-
standing there looking
those are
at
great
it.
panels. They did a great
Yeah.
job on them. And I'm sure they get a lot of traffic.
Well, thanks so much for doing all this.
Mhm.
Fun.
Beautiful.
You want me to click around on anything else?
No, I mean, most of the panels everyone's seen, so.
And this is accessible on the county website.
Not yet.
That's what we're
Yeah,
talking
not
about.
yet.
Ah,
That's,
got
yeah.
it, got it. Okay.
I mean, speaking of graphic panels,
I thought the alien ones would have turned you off a graphic panel for another 10 years.
well, so Bob asked Dirk DePactor about a historic survey. Is that what you call it? Of San Miguel City, that he has.
Archaeological survey?
No, he's got a lot of stuff about San Miguel City. But he did mention that when I mentioned that, county's doing the sign on the north side facing San Miguel City, that it's going to be the plat that he generously donated to us.
Mhm.
He also has some other things, like he has the postage stamp of San Miguel City
Really?
on something. He thought maybe that could be added to the
Mhm.
board. And what he did, he suggested that when we get to a point where we're looking at putting it together, go talk to him, show him kind of what we're thinking. He may say, hey, I got something that.
Yeah.
He's got more stuff than the museum does.
So how did he come to acquire these items?
He's been collecting this stuff. Sometimes it was a house that people died and left the stuff, or they're gonna tear it down, and he found stuff in the attic and the basement, and he's bought a lot of stuff. He has maps from all over the West.
Kind of his specialties, that's
Yeah.
a very
Yeah.
nice maps, the museum borrowed his stuff.
Yes.
Do a map display.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they used him a lot for
Yeah.
all that stuff. So he's a great resource, I think, for anything we're doing in the county and in the town and everything.
Sure.
I think that panel will be really pretty easy to put together, but you think we would have a little bit of money to maybe just hire Molly to do it?
Well, I've spoken to Kieran about that
Yeah.
before, just about,
I know Karen's
compensating
busy.
her for her time, but I know he's
I mean,
busy.
it sounded like the museum took care of that when we did the other panels. But I mean, I think she did a great job, and but I feel like we
Absolutely.
might be pushing it if we go back. No,
No,
You do one more,
Well,
but
I totally agree because
Yeah.
she actually had volunteered to get involved with signage, historic interpretive signage up, where the vandalism took place up on Tomboy. Remember last summer?
Yep.
And she immediately tossed her
Oh,
hat
yeah.
into the ring and said, I want to do this, I want to get involved.
Mhm.
And then, I sent some subsequent emails and then, just
Yeah.
never heard back. So,
We have a line in the budget. for
oh,
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so what I would suggest is when, and I realize Kieran is dealing with personal stuff now, but when he's back, just ask him like, since I guess he's.
Can we rent Molly?
Can we rent Molly?
Yeah.
And I would think the first step would be, and obviously Molly and Kieran know Dirk well, working on this big map exhibit they just did. But like, put Molly together with Dirk and let see what he has that could potentially be put on the panel.
Mhm.
Because if he has, like, it's, to me, it's kind of like that, the Ilium one, we'd use the Telluride Power Company map as a centerpiece. So maybe Dirk has a couple things that are historic, and then we could just build off those.
Right, and just incorporate
And
that.
just, and
Mhm.
like, cause that made, make the panel much more interesting than the text and the.
And I think he's very open
Yeah,
to participating and
awesome.
helping, and, you know, he's got just a wealth of stuff and a wealth of knowledge in his head, and
Well, and he probably loves to share it.
he
It's
does.
it's the passion for
Yeah.
him.
Our 15-minute meeting went to an hour and a half, I think, the other
Nice.
day. And
Well,
then the other thing, just note, Angela mentioned that when I was telling her about the panel that we're doing for San Miguel City across the street, she says, well, Open Space has been talking about doing some panels on the property. And I said, well, we need to make sure we coordinate this so it's not,
Well, Greg, yeah, and that's part of what we do
Yeah.
is just, it's, the Mill Creek Park site is both historic and open space.
Mhm.
So we're trying to incorporate both commissions into being involved and then
Mhm.
just deciding how we proceed forward. But
Yeah.
yeah.
they
No,
haven't done anything yet. They're talking about it as far as I know.
Yeah, nothing's been drafted yet.
Yeah. So you probably know more than I do about it. So.
Well, yeah, and I just,
You talked to her.
I have to go back to the county commissioners to see, what they're gonna allow us to do this year. So I have an updated budget as
Hmm.
far as what the initial conceptual plan was for the site. And we're just working on, the details with the town of Telluride, for the waiver of the tap fee to tap into their
Right.
water line, which runs past the park. So
Following that.
that's gonna be on town council next week.
It didn't happen.
Excuse me?
I thought it was like a done deal, or it's come up a couple of times. since-
It has been come up, it
Oh.
has come up a couple of times and then been withdrawn because there were certain details we had to work out with PRV and the transformer, who
Okay.
was paying for what.
Yeah,
And initially they had the county paying for everything. And, in their PRV, which would be 8 inches versus ours, which is like 3/4 of an inch.
mhm,
You're talking $80,000 versus like $2,000. So we
Mm.
weren't gonna spend 80 to save 30.
mhm.
So, but we finally hammered it out and, there's gonna be a fourth reading, I believe,
Okay.
next Tuesday,
Hmm.
the 18th.
Yeah, jeez.
And the last thing is, I don't know if you've seen this book by Paul O'Rourke.
Where'd you get that?
Dirk loaned it to me. It's been signed.
They sell it at the museum, probably at the bookstore too.
Greg's gonna want it.
It just came out not too long ago.
But
Wonder if that-
it's got stories that the one Dirk pointed out was a gentleman named Tom Breckenridge.
From the Breckenridge up near the airport.
Yes.
Oh, is that the-
Yeah.
He was very involved in
Yeah.
the Valley Floor. And there's a story about him in here. That's,
Okay.
Oh,
This
interesting.
whole is trail.
yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
So anyway, I haven't started yet. I'm reading the 580-page Da Vinci book,
Mhm.
and I've only gotten about 30 pages into it. So this is next. But I have to give it back to him eventually. But it's got lots of stories about the people,
So that's a compilation. He used to write a pretty healthy article for Telluride Magazine,
Mhm. That's
winter
what he
and
said,
summer.
yeah.
And
Oh,
that's a
yes.
Compilation of all of
Yeah,
those.
all the stories.
Yeah.
So what do you think? You don't like that idea?
Well,
Isn't your book coming out then?
Kevin, are there any buildings at this point planned for San Miguel City Park?
Any buildings?
Yeah,
Um,
lean-tos, picnic, anything like that?
yeah, the only thing we have, planned would be a covered, picnic area or barbecue area. So we're gonna have, various tables spread out, but there's only one small structure that would be out there.
I'm just wondering if any plaques, interpretive signage, all of that could be incorporated into a building.
Well, and that's on my list to
Yeah.
talk to you guys about.
Yeah.
I've
It could
got
be
some,
similar to Vance Junction, probably, right? What we have.
pretty much.
Right, although it is, the idea of just a sign that people could read from the bike path is kind of cool too. Like, not everybody's gonna stop in.
Right,
I don't-
well, one thing on my list is, the county's working with the town to develop the Fruin building.
Mhm,
So, and granted, this is probably at least 2 years out,
Mhm.
if not more, but the two sheds out there are gonna have to be relocated. So, what Greg and I had been talking about is, because immediately they were just like, oh, they're gonna go into Galloping Goose Park. And that park is not that large. So, what we were thinking is if we put one in Galloping Goose Park and maybe one in Mill Creek Park and actually utilize them. Maybe we can, I mean, obviously they're gonna need to be moved, but if they survive the move, can we utilize them as picnic structures? Can we just open them up, have those doors open and then just, utilize them for a recreational component as opposed to just simple storage. But, these are all very recent conversations. So we're still working with the town and they need to hash out what's actually going to happen at the site and what would be developed. But, those are two sheds though, which will have to be moved. So it's sort of finding a home for them, what's appropriate and how we would want to acknowledge them and possibly potentially utilize them.
Maybe you can tie into the pollinator garden part,
Mm.
4-H classes for plantings or something like
Oh,
that.
sure. Absolutely.
My understanding of park rules is if you move a historic structure, it can't leave the historic district.
Mm.
That's why we have so many sheds floating around, because people are like, hey, you want a historic shed? I can't destroy it,
No, and I was,
but I gotta put it somewhere.
yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. And we were thinking about that too. And I know there are a couple of homeowners who have multiple sheds in their yards because they're willing to take them in. So, yeah.
I think you're right.
Right.
I've never had to deal with that. Somebody wanted to take it out of town
Right.
when I was with the.
And it's
but
just beyond the circle.
Yeah,
Well, that's good. Hopefully I will track Molly down at some point, but there's a lot of stuff that still needs to be worked out as far as the general plan for the park anyway, so. No rush.
Okay.
Can we talk about the work plan with just three of us or no?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we certainly can.
We did some updates at the last meeting. And I had a couple notes. Based off of
If
last
anybody
meeting.
needs one, I have no stuff.
I would love it. Oh. You need one?
you can read it first.
I think
I'll look over your shoulder.
we had talked about just. Deleting
Everything moves in
the
it.
Placerville Depot off there altogether or. On page 1,
Yes.
but you guys then added notes about what we did, but
Well, we discussed deleting it and then we also discussed keeping it open for a replica. We can do whatever, I'm not.
I just assume delete it, but I don't want to lose the idea of a replica as the anchor of future whatever Placerville comes,
Mhm.
like if they ever do get the sewer thing going down there.
Did we ever show these guys the conceptual plans for Placerville frontage?
Yeah, I think, I shared
Last
those with
meeting.
you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't remember if that was open.
we could just change the wording then where. We could get rid of what we did, because it's done
Yeah,
for now.
I'd say so too.
So in the accomplished 2024, the C. Line item consulted land over C dot Timstro.
So are you saying delete all of
We could delete C
in accomplished or action?
in accomplished.
Wait,
I mean, unless you do, I don't know, do we need to leave that or? And the last time we talked with the county commissioners about the work plan, I was like, the only thing we talked about was the depot in Placerville.
right,
So, I mean, there's nothing to talk about anymore.
but shouldn't it stay on the accomplished list?
Oh,
I
yeah, I
mean, here's
guess.
what we did and
Yeah,
we're
We did a lot.
moving on to new stuff.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Maybe
Yeah.
just
So
shorten
maybe
it.
keep it in accomplished, but we can delete it from action.
Yeah,
Well,
it's not
yes,
an action
yeah,
item.
Yeah. And then if, to John's point, and we talked about that too at the last meeting. I mean, we could just change it to be. How would you word it simply, just,
Still under consideration pending future
or just,
developments or something.
yeah, or potential replica. Potential replica of the depot.
Yeah, and we used to, in previous work plans, we had like priority projects and then lower priority projects or, ones where we were really taking action, whereas this can be moved down, I guess, to the bottom of the list.
Yeah. And maybe instead of like, yeah, evaluate the feasibility. Well, I mean, you kind of have that, I guess.
You know, there's actually a few things on here that are ongoing. We
Yeah.
can just get rid
You
of
know,
the letters,
you know-
create an ongoing.
You know, what you could easily do is just do Placerville RGS Depot and then parentheses next to it. Just put in replica.
Call it a day.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because I didn't notice you had that evaluate the feasibility of building an accurate replica.
Hmm.
That way, we know that everyone knows it's just we're talking about replica and not
Right, not,
what we went through with the.
And it's not a high priority at the moment,
Yeah,
unless somebody comes
So sorry,
along.
where did we land? Leave it, but just keep replica or?
or so Placerville RGS Depot, where it's in bold.
Yep.
And
we'll
then
just put replica
in parentheses or whatever, replica in bold.
Got it.
We know that we're just talking about a potential replica down the road, if the opportunity ever presented itself.
yeah, and then Greg also well, I'm looking straight across, granted it's B, not C, but you can remove the 55K for Tim Stroh
Yeah.
because he's absorbed into the EPA grant.
Anything else on there that we? No,
They, oh, on the trails and parks. On page 2.
Mhm.
So I think what got combined by accident is the. One was Matt Steens wanting us to go look at the Mill Creek. What's the trail called? There's historic stuff up there. Mill Creek Connector Trail, is that what it's called these days?
Oh, what the Mountain Club just did?
Yeah, I
Okay,
think, well, that's.
The Waterline Trail?
Is it
Comes
called the
into
Waterline Trail?
isn't that on the other side?
that's on, yeah,
Yeah.
What Matt's wanted us to put on there was, there is some historic stuff left up there from, I think when they used to bring the water down. To Mill Creek and beyond up there. I've never seen it, but Matt said it's definitely worth checking out. So that was I think that was one hike, a hike we wanted to do to go look at this historic stuff up there. It's above Mill Creek somewhere. Matt knows where it is. But I think what just got combined on the work plan is that with the potential of the new bridge on the Galloping Goose Trail
That's
at
the water line.
Bill Creek.
right.
So they just kind of got combined. So I don't know how to word it, just Mill Creek water line. Explore historic structures. I think we'll remember what that was for Matt.
So we're talking about C or?
Yeah. And so, yeah, it should be two different line items. One, the Mill Creek, exploring those structures that are up there.
Waterline Trail Bridge connecting the Waterline Trail to the Galloping Goose Trail.
Yeah, so I think what happened is this got accidentally combined. Where the fourth one should be the the new bridge on the Galloping Goose Trail at Bill Creek, which is your colleague Rich's dream.
Was it Ilium?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the
Bill
Ilium,
Creek.
yeah.
So that's the one.
Train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abutments there.
Mhm.
And so we talked about the last meeting, just having it on a work plan in case, if Rich wants us to maybe weigh in as a historic commission. With the, any talks we can have with the Mountain Village, because the Mountain Village owns the property now.
Oh,
So
okay.
that was always the Alexander family,
Right,
but the Mountain Village has since bought it,
Uh-huh.
and they're planning on building affordable housing down there.
yep.
And so now that it's Mountain Village, Rich Hamilton brought that up. And we were talking about how it would be amazing to get the Galloping Goose Trail off where it climbs that hillside there in a terrible,
Yes.
terrible manner.
Yes,
And
Right.
have put a bridge over the old historic abutments, and so you just continue on the goose grade, you know.
and how would that tie in with the Down Valley Galloping Goose improvements? Is that like in a zone? Is that one of the zones you guys are considering? Like the stuff down around, you guys are talking about a bridge down near,
Well, there are
Saw
two,
Pit.
there would be, that's the Down Valley Connector Trail, not,
Okay,
yeah, and there would be two bridges in Saw Pit.
would this be part of that in any way, or is this outside?
No,
that
this is
scope?
totally
Okay.
separate.
It's outside, but it would help, link that all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it would be part of that connection,
Yeah.
but
Because what you
Separate
could do is
project.
you'd ride and then you get it, there's that trail that goes along the highway, you know. To get you past that. 'Cause you used to ride through that private property there.
Right,
By the river, now you go out to the county road department. And then you go behind that to get on the county's.
yeah,
And
to get on
61, yeah.
M59, you go behind this, where the CDOT
Yeah.
facility was.
And we may be getting ahead of it, but I guess that's another argument, I guess, to kind of keep it on a work plan is because if the Down Valley Trail ever did come into existence, and this never happened, you're talking about even more of a need to have this bridge.
I agree.
So if you ride it,
I
I was
agree.
thinking you hit that trail.
Yep.
Which is terrible.
it's very
Mm.
like,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
like barely rideable. And you can tell that I'm sure locals probably put it in many, many years ago.
Right.
Which is great that they did, but our understanding was Rich. I think what he told me just in casual passing is that he's asked the village about it, but the village didn't really
well, they're,
say it.
actually, I think that land is still under contract.
I was
don't think
gonna
They've
s-
actually purchased it
Oh, really?
because they're doing feasibility studies, like. They may not be able to put in the housing they want to, and then the land is kind of worthless to them, so.
Interesting.
Well, there's still in negotiations too with the Alexanders because of the whole water treatment plant.
Right,
So it's
Mm.
still, yeah, I don't know, like
Yeah.
John's
You
saying,
know, they've
I don't
closed
think
it.
they've.
I don't think they have,
Cause I
I
know
don't
like
think they have,
we're part of the Ilium, as a resident of Two
Mhm.
Rivers, we're part of the Ilium Park HOA, and I think. They're trying to move forward with digging a second well already for this potential
Hmm.
development. Stuff's happening. Anyway, if we have it on the list, then if we can step in and, voice our support for it from a historic standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just to clarify, we want to keep Waterline Trail Bridge as C.
Well, it wouldn't be a bridge, so. Okay, so how do
Waterline
we word this?
Trail.
Let's just say Mill Creek. Waterline Trail.
Mill Creek.
And then you could just say. Explore,
That's where the historic structures are that
Yeah.
Matt was talking
yeah,
about.
So if,
this is all from Matt.
do we want to put that into Discovery then? Because we have a
Oh,
section
okay,
of.
yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Okay, so. Explore historic structures.
Discovery, yeah, perfect, and we may be able to do that like in May, the way things are going. The way the weather's going, do it next week.
Do it now.
That's crazy. Yeah, so it's just, Mill Creek. Waterline Trail, explore historic structures.
Got it.
And then on the, that C item on the trails and historic trails and parks could just be, I guess. Galloping Goose Trail Bridge.
Okay, so. Galloping Goose Bridge, and then I'll put the abutment thing.
Yeah, and you could just, it's like at Bill Creek or Ilium Valley. So we can get rid of connecting the waterline trails. Yeah, got on the historic abutments.
Okay.
That works.
And I'll make all these corrections we talk about today, and I'll send out this like red line version to everybody, and then.
May I bring up one?
Yeah, Bob's got.
On the historic, the cemeteries. Just
Mhm.
as part of my conversation with Dirk, he's got a wealth of knowledge about cemeteries all over the place here.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
He mentioned one up near the airport.
yes.
Yes.
Serious, cemetery,
Yes. And he goes up there and buries bones because I guess there's things that are digging them up or something.
Well, we do that too when we're on the.
But
County
he
Line
has,
Creek
I
Trail.
think he'd be a wealth of information. If we do anything here about the cemetery, it's just,
Well, just so you know, though, that cemetery,
Yeah.
which a lot of people are aware of, it's Chinese immigrants. SMBC owns that property and they have specifically requested that we not call attention to it.
oh, okay.
So that's why
Well,
there's no,
yeah.
no, but I'm just saying, that's why there's no historic interpretive
I-
signage and,
Yeah.
we own we have the easement for the trail running through it, but
mhm,
they've made it clear that they don't want people up there.
Okay, he's probably aware of that, I would
Do
think.
do you know if they don't want people up there because they think it's full of Chinese immigrants, or they just don't
No.
want people on the property?
I think it's more, I don't, yeah, no, that's, yeah, because the history is, and you guys probably know more than I do, is that there are many people buried up there and all of the white people were relocated to Lone Tree and the Chinese immigrants were left behind. So when Rich is up there doing trail work on Remine Creek, or we go up there, you'll find casket handles, you will
Well,
find bones,
Yes.
because
you
there
mentioned that.
there are badgers, and so we're always reburying stuff. I think it's just that they don't want people trespassing.
Okay.
I don't think it has
Simple.
anything to do with who's buried there.
Casket
Yeah.
handles.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I did some research on it when another local, Steve Green, was talking to me about it, the whole Chinese immigrants thing. And I found up all the old articles, and when they moved to Lone Tree, people got moved if they still had family or friends around.
Hmm.
So there's white people out there still too.
okay,
And like I found there was a record of a guy who was buried there, and this is very early on when everything was just getting started here. And his name doesn't show up in Lone Tree. And
Oh, so he
my
must still
guess
be
was
up
simply that he didn't have anyone around to pay
right.
to
To move
move
them
him.
over, yeah.
And there was one of the early settlers was out there forever, and there was an article in the paper decades later where the paper the reporter just did a little rant, like, why hasn't so and so been moved?
Oh, really?
And he was just like, they saw it as insulting to this one of these early pioneers was still sitting out there and hadn't been moved yet, and then they finally moved him. Just because the paper complained about it.
I wonder how they were able to identify, because there's nothing marked.
Yeah,
I mean, there are
Sure.
stones that some look like headstones, but there's nothing on them.
and I think the Chinese immigrant thing is a load of BS. But
Well,
I
and,
can write a column about it.
oh, no, but
There's a history where most of the Chinese guys who came here, it was a rule in their culture that they had to be sent back to China to be buried. And there was that was part of their religion, that if they weren't buried in the fatherland, then they wouldn't get to heaven, essentially. So most of them were sent back, and that I won't go into it. That's grim too. Like, it was expensive to send someone back in those days, so they would hide them
Take
like
months.
like things marked fish oil or something like that.
um,
And there was a story about a Chinese person who was buried in Lone Tree, and it was a very detailed article in the paper, and because a bunch of guys from town showed up to make fun of them and laugh at them, because they had a very different cultures when they were burying somebody, all the little rituals they had.
yeah,
And a bunch of jerks from town were there making fun of them. But the paper hints that why he wasn't sent back to China was because it seemed like his fellow Chinese neighbors and stuff, they didn't like him very much. So none of them wanted.
Didn't want him to go
they
to
didn't
heaven.
wa- they- Well, they didn't want to cough up the money.
Right.
They didn't want to.
They didn't want to pay
get
for it.
back.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, but-
I was curious about that. That makes sense that they don't, it's as simple as just no trespassing.
Mhm.
Right, yeah, like I was saying, in all fairness to SMBC, I don't think it has anything to do with who's buried there. It's just a matter of people trespassing on their property.
It makes sense.
And just to go back, Dirk did talk about, there's some small burial places up near the mines, different mines.
Mhm.
I mean, he's got if we ever get to do this project,
Mhm.
Don.
he'd be a good source to,
So the last I talked to Angela, she had a line on some students out of University of Arizona, maybe. And we were trying to get them up here for the summer to make this a project of theirs.
oh, I don't know
Yeah.
about that.
Okay, and I had offered,
They were moving in with you. You didn't hear about it?
They're using our guest room? Oh, yeah, that's right. 10 kids. Thanks.
I think she mentioned two, and I was like, I'll take one, you take one, something
No.
like that.
I don't, she didn't
Okay,
tell me
she and I
about
need
this.
to catch up on it.
Yeah.
We like, we see each other at a party, mention it,
Yeah.
and then say, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah,
We never do it.
yeah.
I see that the Oprah jail is on here. Thank you. That's a reminder to me that I need to get
Yeah, I
the
had that
paperwork
circled.
in for that one.
Yeah.
I think, John, I mean, I've got, if, when you're ready to do that.
Yeah.
I've got some, of the old articles, I got the old pictures.
Okay,
And I think our argument with the county is that it may have been moved. But that's part of the history that we talked about, because everything was in Ophir because of avalanches.
I think it was moved by an avalanche. I don't think it was moved like by people.
Oh, wow. Even better.
Yeah, no, I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was an avalanche pushed it.
I think we could back
'Cause
that.
I know, I mean, per our own rules of the register, like, you know, things should be where they were, right? It's kind of, but
Mhm.
this is a special case
Mhm.
because of the history of Ophir, the avalanches. And second of all, everyone knows it's the old jail.
Mhm.
And if we could get that on the register, that'd be huge.
Right.
I think, it's just picking it up and moving it for, no reason can be a bit tricky, but it's moved because
To
of
preserve it.
avalanches.
Because of the history of.
The history of the space, I don't think that where it's sitting today would be a problem
How,
with
how,
justifying that.
how involved is the paperwork for,
I think it's only 3 pages.
Yeah, I've sent
The
out the
application?
application before.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the county?
Mhm.
Yeah, you
And
sent them
it's
to
just,
me
it's been
once.
something on my like to-do list at work. I just haven't gotten to it. But I may have some people up there. There's a lot of people who have extra time up and over. I could bet it, I bet I can get them on this. And they could be the spearhead.
yeah, I mean, that'd be awesome to get that done. And like I said, when you do start on, just shoot me an email and I've got a folder somewhere with all the photos I found and some old newspaper articles on it.
Okay.
There's not much, but then again, there's not much about Ophir
We,
in general.
we may be having a burial up in the Ophir Cemetery in the spring as well.
Oh,
Dick Unruh's remains.
Wow.
Oh, really?
It's, death gets complicated. He told me in person he wanted to be buried in the Ophir Cemetery. But his son is like, oh, I never heard that, and I don't think there's any paperwork to that effect, so. So I don't know who takes care of the stone. I did ask Dick specifically, like, he's a military vet, did you want us, the vets, or the military to give you a stone? He said, nah, I don't want that for the rest of my life. You know?
well, and John, didn't
Yes.
the woman just pass away? You know, when you first enter Ophir on the left? I'm drawing a blank now on their names.
Terry Savelli.
Yes.
Yep. So they are, that's a good point, I should.
So would she also be in the Ophir Cemetery or?
Now that family has never mentioned this to me.
I know they have connections to France, right?
So he is French,
Okay.
she's from the United States, he came over here, he basically started a climbing school in Ophir. They lived in Ophir proper for about 5 or 6 years, and then they bought that property down by the post office. And we actually, when we went on that field trip, we went
Yeah.
and looked at their.
Oh, yeah, no, we met with them.
Yeah.
But that's a good point. I never talked to the Savellis about burial in Oprah Cemetery. I should do that. I have no idea what their
Mhm.
plans are or anything.
Okay.
You know, speaking of cemeteries, wasn't there a graveyard? Even a small one at Samville City?
So I've heard that, and I have wandered that place
Yeah.
a lot and not been able to find anything that would say graveyard, but
I don't know.
I've
And
heard that
Nothing-
before.
Nothing was
dropped on the
highlighted
plat
in the
either. I don't
report?
think. I don't think so.
Okay.
Don't recall seeing anything
It
on
may have
there.
been the same situation where
They moved them.
they moved
Yeah.
Right.
when there was a proper
Yeah.
cemetery.
Mhm.
I wonder if we can.
So just be
find
careful when
someone-
you're digging in the
Yeah.
park.
You're not supposed to dig out there. Oh, on the north side, yeah.
Yeah. Park.
Yeah.
It was a restaurant, so they say.
There was one there.
Those weren't beef bones.
This is a good list. We're gonna accomplish everything on this list.
I heard that there was never a bar in San Miguel City, but Dirk wasn't, he was a bit skeptical of that.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I
found
raised
a-
it. He
yeah,
said,
I
I don't think so. I
I
think
found
there
an
was.
article that mentioned a saloon.
Did you?
Really?
Okay.
Okay.
But that was again early on, and again, like we talked about, like that very saloon probably just moved right into Telluride, the building and everything, because it probably wasn't in the business. I mean,
Yeah.
even when San Miguel City was still kind of hanging in there, the party was here,
Hmm.
you know. So they
Yeah,
probably
that's
just
your moonshiner. article.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah. Dirk's got a, one of those stereoscopic pictures, you know, there's two pictures. It's like,
Stereopticon.
yeah, of San Miguel City, very, very early on. There's still trees
Wow.
on the valley floor.
see we need
Yeah.
to get our hands on that for the panel, because the pictures of San Miguel City that are out there that are available to us are not.
Yeah.
not-
He'd be worth talking to. If you want me to do it, that's fine. If you want to do it,
We're talking about the panel in San Diego City.
Yeah.
Okay, because when the town condemned the valley floor, one of the steps they had to do was an archaeological study, and they did theirs on the south side.
yes, I was part of that.
You were part of that, okay, what was it? There's a guy, he lives down Cortez Way. He's on the board of directors at the museum, he was for a while. But he is an archaeologist and he was part of that as well. And
Yeah, there was, I
I'm
think,
sure John would like us.
I think the guy you're talking about, he wasn't officially part of the team,
yeah,
but he was out there doing stuff and driving
Lance,
Lance nuts.
crazy, because he told me that they were under orders not to take anything, and he's like, this stuff's just gonna get picked by somebody else, so he took it all.
Yeah.
And he has a really thick, like I had a copy of it, it's about this thick in paper, and I think there's a PDF of it out there, but it's his report, and then he would like find an object, take a picture of it, and then go onto eBay and do a fair amount of research, and there's some very cool stuff that he.
I had that box
photographed
under
out
my
there.
desk for several years and then it went
Just
over
the
to
box of
Lance
stuff,
stuff.
okay.
that Lance has it now in his office, at least, but he can't walk into Lance's office.
Right.
It's scary.
Okay.
So I,
can find, he gave me like a copy of half of it, and I just started looking through it, I was like, this is amazing. Anyway, those images could be used for a plaque as well.
So anyway, just a couple of things. First of all, so when it comes to the work plan, typically Ted is chair, he and I and or Greg would present it to the county commissioners. But, you know, you're all welcome to be there or
What
add
is
in your
that?
comments. Well, I need to discuss certain dates. I mean, at one point, they were going to put us on next Wednesday, the 19th, which I thought was kind of quick since we're only finalizing this tonight. But the next date, I believe, is right before spring break, April 2nd, I think. And typically the way it works, I know you guys probably like, we're in March, but typically the beginning meetings of the year with the county commissioners in January, February the agendas are full of more pressing items. So we always get pushed back to March anyway. So it's not as if we're behind schedule or behind anything. This is typically our timing to do this. But again, I'll work out dates with you, but again, I like to invite everybody because, you know, there might be a project where you're like, I want to talk about that, or, you know, and usually we do the gloss, the overview of the entire work plan, but depending on the county commissioners, sometimes they want to discuss each and every item on here. So,
Sometimes they.
Okay, fine.
Say hello and then we leave.
well, we have different commissioners this year. Thank you. And
Well, yeah, I mean, and I've noticed, I mean, obviously the county seems to be dealing with a lot of pressing stuff right now, with the whole state of things, funding, all that stuff, so.
What about a short presentation, like on a screen of accomplishments, just show them a picture of, I don't know, roof replacement on the Lewis Mill, or show them a picture of the new.
well, yeah, they've
Uh,
seen that
They haven't
because
seen all this?
yeah, because
Okay.
the roof replacement, and actually, yeah, I have two items to still chat with you about. So
You keep them apprised of,
yeah, and
Yes.
I always email you guys too, because when you think of it, Nico did the roof probably 2 years ago now. So yeah, you're absolutely right, though. They do love photos.
Yeah.
They want to see pictures.
Yeah.
That's why we do throw them in the annual reports. All right, so real quick, anyway, I will keep everybody in the loop with the conversation with the Fruin building, that development, timing, the sheds, because I made it clear to Jared Biggs, our assistant county manager, that you guys should be part of the process as far as deciding the fate of the sheds and the locations. So they respect that, and they will keep me in the loop, and I will therefore keep you in the loop.
Is the Friend building considered historic in any way?
I
Doesn't feel like
I
it.
don't think so.
Okay.
no, it's
And like, when you go up into the attic, you can see the
It's-
original roof just burnt to,
Uh,
and then they just literally built a new roof over it.
yes.
it's like the inside of the courthouse when you go up in the tower to change the flag. It's as if the fire happened last week. I mean, it's
I mean, there are places up in that attic, like if you step in the wrong spot, you're going.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
when we did the survey, I don't recall that being listed
yeah,
as a historic building, but
yeah.
Just on that subject, if you get a chance when you're in Montrose, have you been to the Montrose? I'm not sure if they're calling it the city hall, but the Montrose offices on Main Street. So they used to be in a, what's that?
The big stone building.
No, they used to be in a stone building 1 block off of Main Street to
Yeah.
the south. But they took over a bank. There was this bank that was out of business on Main Street, and so to sort of revitalize Main Street a little bit,
Yeah.
they moved all of their offices up there and they redid it. It's pretty cool looking. It's definitely different, but it's just something to check out.
there wasn't much
As
left
you're
of
looking
it.
for ideas there, what?
There wasn't much left of the building when they got it, I think, and it's all looks.
It's still like
Pretty
the
new.
seventies architecture and
70s,
yeah.
Have you guys seen the new hotel over by the Fox Theater? Because Tim
Yes.
Tim
Yeah.
Stroh was involved in that.
We were
Yeah.
gonna stay there, but it didn't work out with our
Yeah.
travel plans.
No, I've heard it's
Really?
pretty fabulous. I haven't been inside yet.
Pictures look good.
Yeah.
He's a partner on that.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
The well, it's very like, there's no front desk. That's the new thing,
Yeah.
I think, in hotels. So everything is coded, you get a code. If you need anything, you text somebody who knows where they are.
Yeah,
But there's a really nice cocktail bar on the bottom floor. That's kind of their
Mm.
lobby, if you will.
All right, so I just want to provide you guys with a couple of quick updates. So good news, Nico has promised once again that he's going to finish phase 2 of Lewis Mill this year. So we still have the funds budgeted, and I'm just waiting for him to give us timing, but he has taken on other projects. He was working with Road and Bridge, working up on
Yeah.
Tomboy Road and helping with that. Hey, Matt. So that is on the calendar for this year. Hopefully we will be done. And phase 2, just to remind you, is some structural improvements within the interior, replacing the window frames, the windows. And then one thing we've been talking about is sort of creating like a gerbil ball or something within the structure itself, so that when you come in on the top floor on the ramp, that you would be contained to that area.
Mhm.
Because I'm sure we've all been in there, but it's dangerous. If somebody were to go down those steps,
Mhm.
it wouldn't be good. So just trying to keep people either to the top floor or just figure that out.
That would be cool. if that could
So,
happen.
yeah. And then I just want to update you about the Matterhorn Mill, the county acquisition and conveyance. I had to type up a whole sheet today just to go over some notes from my various meetings. As I mentioned to you before, I meet with the U.S. Forest Service with two separate groups, once a month, one to deal with the conveyance and acquisition and one to do with the tram cable removal. And Matt, I am still waiting for the U.S. Forest Service to confirm or deny whether or not they have funding for the photos. If not, we will cover your expense. But they also need to go back to the team that was out there in September to see if they have anything worthwhile and anything that they can use. So I will keep you posted on that, but thanks for offering to handle that for us. So it's all about capturing the cable prior to the removal. So be it with drone shots, video, photography. And they did have a team out there in September 6th, but they still need to look at what their team captured and whether or not we need anything in addition to that.
How close can you get a chopper in there?
Yeah, helicopters don't like cables.
So the plan is still take the cable out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So when it comes to the conveyance and acquisition, the cable actually needs to be removed first before conveyance and acquisition can take place. So the estimated date for the tram cable removal is hopefully within this calendar year. They're hoping by the end of September. So, I mean, I should just preface this whole thing with our initial targeted date for conveyance and acquisition was this September 2025. It is now pushed 2 to 3 years out. And I will go through the various steps that need to happen, but apparently this is the first time the U.S. Forest Service is dealing with this type of conveyance and acquisition. So there are a number of details and steps that come into play with this. And one process alone is going to take 2 years. We need the governor's approval on one thing. We need FERC's approval. We need Congress. It's involved. So, I mean, I'll just gloss over some stuff here, but they've also, the U.S. Forest Service has dealt with some internal staffing changes as well. So, yeah, so there has to be the appraisal. We need to determine the footprint for the easement because, let's see, yeah, the time frame is longer now since it's not shown as an administrative site. The U.S. Forest Service, they had their enterprise team involved, which has prioritized the project. So the enterprise team, not to cause confusion, is still involved in the tram cable removal, but not in the conveyance and acquisition. So they're kicked out of this process. The U.S. Forest Service has to go for a Small Tracts Act, but that is only for property that must be 500,000 or less. And they need to do a legislative action to make this happen. They need to create encumbrances on the property, which actually works to our benefit because that'll then drop the value. And so it is a historic site and it does contain Excel's pipeline and penstock. So they consider those encumbrances. A preservation easement needs to be done prior to the appraisal. They need to set and identify the specific boundaries. This requires approval from FERC and the governor. And also we need a boundary easement, we need partial revocation and a power line withdrawal. And the U.S. Forest Service, since they're new to a lot of these steps and processes, they're not even sure about timing. They said the partial revocation process alone might take 2 years. And then the power line withdrawal, that it needs to be identified as a legislatively administrative site, and that would take an act of Congress. So we're moving mountains.
JJ's not here. He's throwing chairs at the window.
I know, and that's why in JJ's email, he's like, hey, do we have an update on Matterhorn? And I decided I'd discuss it with you first before providing him with these details. But yeah, I mean, as I joke, you know, I'm in year 7 of a 4-year project, so this is going to probably carry out to potentially 10 years. So let's see. Yeah, so FERC and Excel are involved because the U.S. Forest Service doesn't own the easement for the Ames line. They consider that to be a quick and easy process, but the Ames easement and the preservation easement are going to impact the value. And as I have here, we have no choices or options with this process. This is how it is and what it's going to be. So Megan Eno has assured me that the project is in the queue and they still consider it a very high priority. So we are all on the same page and moving forward, but now we just have to work with these additional steps. So, you know, as I said many times, there's the infamous list of 42 items. Well, that list has now increased and I'm still waiting for an update. And this group now has said, because we're also waiting on SHPO, that instead of meeting monthly, we might now meet every other month or every 3 months, just because there's such a lag in the process, waiting for answers and waiting for permission and approvals. So I'll keep you posted as we move forward, but it's not the information, you know, we wanted to hear. And you know, and it is kind of disappointing that they are only hearing now that these steps are required, because this has been an ongoing conversation for many years. So, and hoping that nothing changes too with current staffing with the U.S. Forest Service, because we have a team in place and we hope they remain in place.
You said something about, this sounds like a very unique situation, like they haven't dealt with some of these processes before,
Exactly.
deacquisition.
And yeah, no,
That seems like they have old mine buildings all over the place. Is this like the first time they're going to be transferring it for historic preservation purposes to like a local government?
it's, well, and I had that question myself, because it's like, this isn't the first time you guys are conveying a historic structure.
Yeah,
And, and there have been conveyances to other entities. You look at the ownership of other mills and how they've been conveyed. So I don't know if, they just seemed so unfamiliar with this process. So maybe this process has taken place with these other structures, but they were not aware of it.
Hmm.
But for the Norwood District Ranger team, it's a first time.
that's
And
probably it.
for,
Yeah.
and even some of the federal people that are located in other offices,
Hmm.
this is their first
Hmm.
time dealing with this process. So, and a lot of this has just come to light. So, I'm thankful we're all moving forward, but it's just not what we wanted to hear, because even when they mentioned the date of September, I kept saying September 2025, and they're like, yes, next year. It's like, really? And they're like, yes, next year. And I always thought it was too good to be true, and unfortunately it was. It'll happen, but it's a longer process now. So,
I feel like when, I think it was Mike or Jared put on the presentation, very initial
with
sketch
housing.
plans about the housing down there,
Mhm.
the not dirt pit,
Gravel pit.
gravel pit, thank you.
Yeah.
This part was, to me, noticeably absent. And wasn't there a point where we were talking about making that part of the housing development, like making it?
Oh, we still are. Yeah,
Okay.
out of the 20 acres that would be conveyed with the structure, 6 would be earmarked for affordable housing. And that's the whole plan, is that, Pathfinder would be developed,
Yeah.
Matterhorn would be developed,
Yeah,
and then we would just create this little hub of a community up
Yeah.
there, with a park and a trail and a
Yeah.
connector between the two. So yeah, Pathfinder is still very much happening, and
okay.
and this will too, but this is just going to lag behind what happens at Pathfinder first.
But Matterhorn was not included in the map of, what is it, 72 units or something, that's the Pathfinder project right now.
Yeah, the Pathfinder project is separate.
Okay. got it.
So whereas
Sure.
it would tie into this
But
from a
there's still,
community
there's still a
standpoint.
long-term goal of putting them together. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
That made 100% sense to me.
yeah.
Cool. Oof. Bummer.
I mean, I'm staying positive.
Somebody's got to.
Yeah.
Well, now that we have Matt, we can improve the minutes really quick.
Awesome.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry I'm late, everyone. That was
Sorry.
No, thanks for being here.
We needed 4 of us to approve the minutes.
Can I make a
Uh,
motion then?
Yeah, do we?
These ones were a little janky. That was the laptop at the library.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
everything, But I picked up as much as I could off of that microphone. If there's anything that's omitted from memory, just let me know and I can.
Did
many.
did anybody have any additions or changes to the January 14th minutes?
Mm-mm.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes of the January 14th, 2025 meeting as written.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Approved. Done.
And also, who just seconded that?
I did.
Oh, sorry, thanks. Yeah, I sent an email to everybody today. Telluride Mountain Club, their trails proposal with the U.S. Forest Service going through the NEPA process. The comment period is open right now from March 5th to, I believe, April 2nd or 3rd. So I sent everybody a link. So out of the 7 trails, 2 of them are, well, not that they're not all relevant to us, but we're more focused on the South Side Perimeter Trail and the Ilium Flume Trail. So it'd be helpful if you want to go into that link and submit comments, hopefully in support, and just help us get through that process.
And I noticed, I looked in there, the package from the Forest Service, and I did notice that all the entities are listed as having weighed in with comments.
But you
We don't need to do that anymore, right?
Right. No, I mean, they had the mountain club had our letter of support,
Right.
which went in with their initial application, but you can also go in there as TED citizen
Okay.
or recreational trail user and, still submit comments that
Okay.
way.
We don't need, we're covered on the official end. Though.
Yes,
We
yes.
don't want to submit something now to this new comment period as a board.
Well,
I think anything that. from
I'm
this
going to
board-
submit comments from the county,
Okay,
just to say, because also from the Open Space Commission,
yeah,
as far as the South Side Perimeter Trail and the Flume Trail, but, it helped though, just as individual recreational trail users, to,
okay. Why, so I can see why the Ilium Trail is historic. What, is there something historic about the South Side Perimeter Trail?
oh, well, I mean, you're free to go in and comment on all the trails. There are 7 trails within
Yeah.
the proposal itself. But I'm just saying from a county standpoint, like the South Side Perimeter Trail, that's a collaborative effort between the county, the town, the mountain club, the U.S. Forest Service, and Iderado. So that is, I mean, there aren't any, well, there's some historic stuff up there. There's the old, but yeah, I mean,
You're just talking about stuff that the county has a
Not
direct
specifically
connection to.
the.
Historic, got it. Okay,
right.
got
And
it.
I just think of the Ilium Flume Trail with you guys since
I think that's super
you're,
historic, yes.
well, and you've been the driving force behind it
Yeah.
to push this.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, it's good to see that's moving forward.
yeah.
It's moving. And it looked like Forest Service is supposed to have a decision by June. I thought I saw in
Yes.
the package.
Yeah. And Heidi from the Mountain Club had always anticipated this summer to get final
crossed.
comments or at least the go ahead.
Fingers crossed.
So, yeah, no, kudos to the Mountain Club because she's been handling the entire process with the paperwork and proposal and applications and gathering the details and supported documentation.
Nice. Alrighty. Well, Matt, just on the work plan, we went and made sure that we added the Mill Creek. What do we call it? Mill Creek Waterline Trail
Thank you.
Discovery.
That's great.
So we'll,
oh,
that'll be on the list. So
was that your suggestion to add that?
yeah, Matt's been up there.
Yeah. Yeah. There's that like stilling basins and, apparently that was like the second water source for town, the one up in Mill Creek, but,
So this
Yeah,
is like those concrete structures in Mill Creek above the bridge.
yeah, above the bridge, there's a dam, and then
Yeah.
you go down the waterline trail, and there's these there's like 2 wooden boxes, and they're basically is like a water person. They're stilling basins to settle out the silt before it went into the pipeline.
Hmm. Okay,
Yeah, I think we could easily make that one of our hikes for
Yeah.
summer or fall. That's a pretty short hike up there, isn't it? I haven't been up there in a while.
Yeah, if you drive up to the water treatment plant, it's not very far at all.
Perfect.
yep.
Awesome. And I would just, as a reminder to ourselves, we wanted to get out to Norwood for one of
Yes.
our meetings to meet with the Wrights
Mhm.
Mesa
Wrights Mesa.
Historical.
Want me to
Society.
add that to Discovery to keep us
Yeah, that'd be great
involved?
because we have not been out there as we talked about in
Mm-hmm.
a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and we're giving them money.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wrights Mesa.
Just kick the door in and like, what do you do with that money? It's what are they're technically called the Wrights Mesa
Historical Society.
Historical Society.
Yeah, we can schedule any meeting that we want out
Yeah,
there.
maybe like May or something, like one of the off-season meetings when it's easier for everyone to get out of town, maybe for a couple hours. If those folks are around.
So does everyone feel okay? And we can go back and forth on this more, but everyone feel like they got their comments in for the work plan?
Yes.
Yeah, Matt, did you have any other comments on the work plan?
No.
Next meeting, I didn't enter all the meeting dates. I know we picked them out for the year. What is the next one?
It is going to be March, no, excuse me, May 13th. Tuesday, May
Yep, I
13th.
did enter it. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Do we want to make that in Norwood?
yeah, we certainly can.
I mean, I would I would vote to try if they're available, just because it'll be off season for us and maybe it'll be
Mhm.
easier for more of us to get out
Mhm.
there.
I won't be here.
Well, Bob won't be here, but we can put you on FaceTime.
He'll probably be in Italy or someplace exotic.
France.
Oh, France, sorry.
Give you a presentation.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's try for Norwood.
Yeah, and too, it'd be nice to talk, because like it's funny, like looking up all these graphic panels. I'm like, I wonder if there's anything out in Norwood. But
Well, you have graphic panels in your office. Help me out with my memory on this one. That they were supposed to go down at
the
IMSIN?
IMSIN,
Okay.
yes, and those needed to be updated with, I think it was, Greg, wasn't it just logos?
I think it was logos.
Because I think the content, I mean, it's history. The history
Yeah.
hasn't changed.
Right.
And then it was just working with BLM and then
We were kind
obtaining
of
the
just mulling
kiosk.
over, like, do we want this that close to the highway? Is it pull off?
Yeah.
Do we want to, we still didn't really nail that down.
Yeah, and the one thing too about that, because Greg and I met with the gentleman who heads up the BLM for this area, the regional rep, and that's where the shooting range exists.
Right.
So it's sort of, they're working on the shooting range to clean that up.
Right.
Granted, this would be, prior to that, but
I actually heard that they did some cleanup. I
really,
didn't get my eyes on it, but yeah.
DBH, he told you?
I was just there about a week ago. It's okay. I brought home at least a full garbage bag full of junk.
Oh, you were up there.
Yeah. At the
Oh,
shooting range.
Did
Yeah,
you pull
no.
some of the bigger things out of there?
thank you.
There's some like frames and targets and stuff like that.
There was like a lazy boy, a mannequin.
It's not, the lazy boy wasn't there. I mean,
Okay,
it didn't look like a junkyard, but there was still a lot, nobody ever picks up their brass there. A lot
yeah.
of shotgun shells.
It's gonna be so hard.
But yeah, I took that trail, actually, that road that goes past the shooting
Oh,
range and kind of winds through. Yeah.
Oh, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't get to the end and it was like an hour and a half and I had to turn around. It doesn't really go to anything.
I
That's
keep
why I
looking
was
at it.
Do you
wondering.
go up over?
You do this kind of, and you kind of go towards, what's the direction of Norwood? That'd be west?
yeah,
You kind of go west.
yeah, I
keep
hiked
looking
it.
at
I
on the
hiked it
map,
years
and
ago
Looks like
too.
it goes up to the.
It didn't really climb. It kind of
Huh.
up, down. It was like
It's
this.
a weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was pretty muddy still. I would
Yeah.
still, if you were gonna hike it, give it a week or two.
I hiked it once years ago, and then I was like, feels like mountain lion country to me.
Yeah.
I've wandered down that trail before.
Yeah.
Okay, but nobody knows what's at the end.
No,
Okay.
I didn't. The same. You just meander
Yeah.
forever, and I assume it gets up to the mesa at some point.
That's what I was thinking, but
But
There
That's
is an
what I
old mine
thought.
site that's just up from Placerville that's like basically between the highway intersection and that trail. Something
Ah.
up there. And on some maps, there is some sort of mine site, but
Okay.
it might have been more just vanadium stuff going on up there too. Makes sense. Interesting. All right. Okay. Well,
does anybody have contacts with the Brights Mesa?
Yeah.
people? Like, who's reaching out?
Yeah, Barbie Youngblood.
so
Okay.
yeah, I guess if we give them enough heads up in April and see if they're even around. They seemed a little elderly when we met with them.
I
Yes.
was just thinking like Barbara Youngblood, that name is
Yeah.
a long time. She's been around a while.
She's
Someone's around.
still there.
Okay, wow.
It'd be nice to pick their brain if they think there's anything we need to be thinking about that we haven't thought.
Well, and I
about
think
yet.
they'd appreciate us wanting to meet with them and
My understanding is like the county the trails out there were more handed over to
WIDA?
yeah.
NPRD,
Trail
Yeah.
Association?
So
Norwood Parks and Rec District.
so it's not really, you guys aren't really messing around with anything way out there. In Norwood.
No, yeah, I mean, you got the Thunder Road trails. I mean, there was a time when we were helping out with grooming with the Nordic trails, but yeah, that's pretty much maintained.
Yeah.
What about that new land acquisition? Did you tell them about that? Remember the one we were talking about? There's like 10,000 acres.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, it hasn't happened yet, but I have, yeah, I'm working with the Colorado West Land Trust, and they have a couple of large land conservation easements coming down the pike. Potentially one this year. If not, it'll definitely be next year. And two of them are about, well, over 10,000 acres. And then there's a couple of other ones in the mix, like at 5,500, and then one which I think is a little less. But anyway, substantial and great for conservation efforts.
These are in our county. These are in San Miguel County.
Yep.
Thanks.
And that all is processed through the Land Heritage Program, which is handled with the Open Space Commission. And then we make recommendations to the county commissioners and then we get involved with funding just to sort of close the gap, be it mineral reports, closing costs, just to, sort of finalize the deal. But they're fairly big. I know the Land Trust is going for some money and funding through GOCO and NRCS, and I think they're looking at like several $1 million to make this happen.
I think it was GOCO, was it close to 2 million?
Yeah, GOCO was one, I think it was
Other
2.8,
funds.
and then the other one was NRCS. So it's big money.
Western Land Trust, this isn't.
They're in
Montezuma Land
Montrose.
Trust. Really?
They're in
Okay.
Montrose.
Got it.
Yeah,
I see their office actually as you're driving.
Yep.
Yeah.
exactly, on the
Yep.
right-hand side.
Yep.
All right, was that everything?
Yeah, think
I can tell
so.
you the story of the Ute Rock on or off the record.
Do it
Oh,
on
wait,
record.
what?
The Ute
Wow.
Rock.
So the Ute Rock in front of the Opera House.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Little park there. So I don't know how I got involved with it, but in the early 80s, the medical center always used to do a coat and food drive for the Ute elders. And I think David McGlynn, who used to be the mayor up in Ophir, was a big part of it. And it was done through the clinic. And there was another guy named Joe Reagan. I don't know if you know his
Oh,
daughter,
yes.
Marion Reagan.
Yes.
Joe seemed to know everybody. in the
Joe went to
county.
my church, yeah.
Yeah. So the three of us, I don't know how I got, but I ended up in Joe's. He had a big pickup truck and we filled the back of the pickup truck with coats, food. But what they had also learned, they had been doing this for years. And what they learned over the course, and they were going up to the Uinta Reservation, the one in Utah near Fort Duchesne. And they had learned that, they're not as interested in the coats and the food, but they would bring money up and then buy food at the local supermarket. So it would help the local economy out too. So anyway, we drove up, the three of us, got there kind of late in the afternoon, did the food run, went to their community center. And I've never done it before, so I was just like following their lead. But they were like, we're getting a weird reception this year. Don't know what's going on. And so they unloaded all the food. And then it's the first time I met Roland McCook, who is sort
Sure,
of
I know Roland.
he's a elder there and
Mhm.
he's involved in the American Indian Museum in Washington, D.C. and stuff like that. So he took us out to dinner and said, hey, here's what's going on. We have just negotiated some really good gas and oil leases on a reservation land that directly benefit the elders. So they don't really need this stuff anymore. And they're just trying to be polite, but we don't really need you guys to be bringing up charity or anything like that. And we're like, okay, that's good. That's progress, right? And on the drive back, we talked about, okay, what can we do? Can we turn this into something else that's not necessarily a food drive or a charity kind of thing? And we agreed that, hey, there is no monument to the Utes in the town of Telluride. There's mining stuff, there's the railroad stuff, but there's nothing to the Utes. And so we started talking about, okay, what about just a plaque? And I kind of dropped off at this point. I didn't get involved, but what I understand is it got kind of complicated because they tried to get the Uinta Utes working with the Mountain Utes and the Ute Mountain Utes. And they didn't get along. And they didn't like, every time somebody came up with language, it wasn't right or something wasn't right. And then it got complicated because that's Parks Department property. And I think Rick Harrington
Oh, yeah.
wasn't really in favor of this thing going in, but eventually it went in. So that's where it came from. Mostly David
Interesting.
Glynn and Joe Reagan.
Okay.
But the
Yeah.
rock was there.
I don't know. That
So
part I don't
kinda
remember.
weird.
I don't think so. I think
They
the
must
rock
have
was
it
brought
the
in
rock, yeah.
to mount the plaque on. Yeah.
I just wonder how many people have stumbled out of the opera house after a show at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the
a good
origin
thing.
story of that rock. And David Glynn is dead, and Joe's dead too, I think,
I
right?
believe so, years ago.
That's interesting.
I should write that one down.
Well, I'm glad I stopped and read it finally. Almost 30 years. It's a
Mhm.
nice plaque. It's got
Mhm.
weight to it. So is the one in Placerville. They're a little bit more
And we, yeah,
Than a graphic panel for sure, so.
and actually we got that stone off the side. I'd been up to the quarry at the airport trying to find the perfect rock boulder stone. And then we found that one on the side of 145.
Perfect.
So we just sent Road and Bridge to pick it up.
No, that's a nice little presentation there too.
Yeah.
You're ready. Now, should we adjourn?
Sure.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.
By mutual
Thanks.
consent.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
John, did you ever meet
Oh, sorry, I was late.
No worries. Yeah, we just
Dana Crawford?
didn't miss too much.
He was the godmother of preservation in Denver, Larimer Square.
Okay.